Good morning, good afternoon. Hi, Michelle. Thank you very much. Good to see you. I'm Cameron John. I lead the product marketing team here at Houzz. I'm super excited you guys are here with my friend and colleague, Kirsten Ferraro from GreenSky. This session is dear to my heart. I keep hearing from contractors like you guys in the audience that you already use GreenSky and you're able to give clients options and basically take the concerns about payment right off the table in that very first conversation. So Kirsten's going to get deep with us today about all the details about this, how this program works, how it can benefit your company. What I want you all to walk away with today is an understanding of what's right for my business. What are the right options? How can I leverage GreenSky financing options to help my clients? Basically, what this boils down to is more buying power for your clients means more projects for you. So one quick housekeeping item, we're going to use the Q&A instead of the chat window. Justin and Frank, I see you guys. Thank you for putting in where you're calling in from. We're going to use the Q&A area right next to chat to keep things clean. But let's take it away. Go ahead, Kirsten.
Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're at. Appreciate you joining us here. A little bit about myself. My name is Kirsten Ferraro. As Cameron mentioned, I'm our partner integrations director here at GreenSky. I work on our sponsor team very closely with Houzz Pro. Super excited to share a little bit about GreenSky with you. I've been with GreenSky for just over 5 years. Started my career here helping merchants just like yourself get started with financing and understand the value, how to integrate it into their sales system. So I hope to share a little bit of that knowledge with you today and answer any questions that you may have off the bat. So I'll go ahead and get started. A little background on GreenSky. We've been around since about 2006. We made it through a couple of recessions, and we have over $8.4 billion in loans for home improvement projects just in 2023. So we work with about 10,000 pros just like yourself that are signed up and active in our system. So we've really got this down to a science. There are a lot of lenders out there, but GreenSky really focuses in on the home improvement vertical. And we've really just found that that's our sweet spot. So I will share a little bit more about that with you in a bit.
One bit of housekeeping here. Justin asked if this will be recorded. Yes, this will be recorded. We'll send it out afterwards. And chances are, if you have a question in your mind, someone else does. Don't be shy. The intent here is to get all the questions answered. We will have time for all of them. So put your questions in the Q&A box and we'll get them answered.
Absolutely. This time is for you guys. So I want to make sure that it's valuable. And it's not just GreenSky specific. If you have a lender that you prefer, this information should be able to transfer to lending in general in the home improvement space. So I want to talk a little bit about why people need payment options. So over half of Americans have less than $1,000 in their savings account. Only 40% of Americans can afford a project over $1,000. We see that 75% of those projects that are over $2,500 are financed, which is going to be the majority of your projects. You guys may see a little bit of a different type of customer than the average American here, because hopefully these projects are planned for, people are saving. But even in those cases, when you have the cash customers, I'm going to show you how financing can be relevant. That's the last time I'm going to say the F word. Financing is an F word. We want to call it a payment option because I'm sure when you think of financing, there are different ideas that pop into your head. So we want to make sure that we're working off of providing your customers options and not feeding into any preconceived notions that they may have about what financing could mean. Who knows what their experience with car loans or even some of those crazy paycheck loans has been. And your cash customers are just as likely to be interested in a payment option as those who are looking for a monthly payment. So we want to make sure that we're not predisposing them to any ideas that would turn them off of the idea of a payment option. So what we've seen in the past is about a 5% higher close rate. So we're not looking to take the business that you're already getting. We're looking to add on to that by capturing additional customers who maybe would wait or who, it's too expensive, so they're just not going to do the project. We're trying to leverage your ability to get that project done for them today and get them to sign today by offering them multiple ways. So you've done a great job presenting options to them. We want to give them a way to say yes to you. Do we have any questions so far?
Just some questions on pricing from Anthony. I know we'll get there, but
okay.
The short answer on pricing is it's customized to every builder, and there's a very long menu of options.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about pricing in a few minutes. So again, we're looking here at the sales that you already have, or what's blooming here above the ground. The ones that you could have are the ones that you don't see. They're the ones that have walked away because it was a little more expensive than they were expecting. This day and age, things are just more expensive than people think they should be or want them to be. So we want to kind of take that objection of price away by offering the customer a payment option. We find the best take rate and the best close rates are when the payment option is brought up early and often. So you want to start planting those seeds with your customers early on. Hey, I don't want you to worry about too much about how much it's going to cost. We'll figure it out. I have plenty of payment options, to make sure that you get your dream project, right? We don't want to take their budget and work out their dream project within the budget. We want to give them exactly what they want and give them a way to pay for it if they choose. So again, we're capturing
early and often, Kirsten.
Early and often.
How early? Like first call, second call, first meeting?
Yeah, I mean, I love to see it on your website, love to see it on your Houzz Pro site. Letting customers know that they have options kind of just eases that pricing conversation. So yeah, hey, I just wanted to let you know I'm going to be over tomorrow to talk about things with you. We've got a couple of payment options available. Wanted to throw those out in case you were interested. Special offers, whatever it is that's going to be adding value. What payment options does is it adds extra value to that consumer. So you're selling a great project. You hopefully have a lot of recommendations that have gotten you in front of that customer. So we want to add additional value. So whether it's giving them a little breathing room to be able to pay monthly, a little extra time to pad their savings account back before they disperse all their money, whatever their reasons may be, you're adding value by adding financing. And I had actually, when I was speaking, Cameron, at a conference a few weeks ago, we were talking and somebody said, it's just not kind to not offer payment options to your consumers. And I'll tell you why. You ever had a scenario where the customer is saving for their project? It's a little more expensive. So they have the cash in the bank, but they're going to be clearing out the majority of their savings or a lot of their savings for this project. So that means, maybe no Disney trip with the kids this year, or God forbid, if something happens to a family member in a month or two, they've put all their money into this project, they don't have emergency funds to buy a plane ticket, right? We don't want to take those things away, those future choices away from your customers by not offering them an option. Just because they have the cash in hand doesn't mean that they can't make good use of it over the next 12 or 18 months, given the option. Right? You've got plenty of people that are going to scratch that check. That's just the way they've done it, or they've worked out their own payment option on the back with their bank or a daddy loan or whatever it may be. But simply bringing it up is not going to hurt the relationship with the consumer. In fact, it builds that rapport and adds that value, knowing that they do have the option if they want to.
That's great.
Awesome.
Doing a kindness for your customer.
Kindness for your customer. You're not choosing for them how they spend their money. You're giving them options on different ways that they can pay if they want to. Your consumers, they're expecting point of sale financing, guys. Everybody has one of these on their desk in front of them or in their car, wherever you are. And you are financing that. You're paying for that because usually on a monthly basis, nobody just wants to shell out the $1,500, whether they have it or not, because they can break it into 36 to 48 easy payments every month and tack it on to their cell phone bill. Why not? Right? We're financing jewelry. Everybody's financing their cars. Your wealthy customers that are driving the Mercedes and the Aston Martins and what does my husband want? I forget what it's called. But anyways, they're driving their high-end car, Alfa Romeo. That's what it is. They're driving a car that they've financed, right? Just because and some of your projects are car costing projects. So you want to give them the same ability to spread out those payments over time The great thing about a GreenSky loan is they can pay it off at their convenience. There's no additional fees or penalties for them to pay that loan back early. So even if they just take it, it's a 10-year loan, they want to pay it off in 2 to 5 years, no problem. There's no additional fees or penalties. If it's an interest-bearing loan, it's simple interest. So they're only going to pay interest for the period of time that they had the loan, because it's just building on the balance. So they can pay more than their monthly payment every month and pay it off early if they want to.
We have a question from Stephen, or maybe Stefan in the audience, about what the loans cover. Is it only construction services, or would it also finance design services?
If it's something, there typically has to be an install. So it couldn't be just design. But if the design is part of the overall project and your company is completing it, then it could be part of the cost.
Okay, that makes sense. I hope that answered your question, and apologies if I got your name wrong.
Awesome. So just a quick snapshot. My marketing team pulled some stats for remodeling in general, just as a vertical, and we don't always have the best vertical information, just because some of you do multiple things. But on average, GreenSky is going to give your customers more than they ask for. So it's an added benefit of offering the payment option is they're going to have that additional credit for, those change orders. So the wife really sees something that she didn't know it existed, and now she's seen it and she has to have it. And it's going to cost a little bit more money. They're already pre-approved with GreenSky for for more funds. So you don't have to go back and redo the application process. We also have a credit limit increase ability. So again, along the way, if it's going to cost more, they want to add on. You're doing such a phenomenal job. They want to add on to that project, and they want to do more work with you. That's what we really want, right? We want to increase those ticket sizes for you and make it worth your while. So you can call into GreenSky and see if the customer would be eligible for even more credit than they were originally approved for. So you can see here the average requested amount was about $16,500, and on average we were returning about $2,000 more. So we don't max approve, because some of these customers that got approved for $18,000 could be eligible for $100,000 in loans, but because they only asked for $16,000, we're going to approve them for something that feels reasonable to them, because otherwise it could scare them that they get approved for that huge number out of the gate. So they could be eligible for a credit limit. You just have to call and ask for that increase.
So what I'm hearing you say is that GreenSky is able to offer finance folks for sometimes more than they ask for based on their credit rating.
Yeah, in most cases, we're going to see at least a small what we call over accommodation or over approval. Mm-hmm. And then they could be eligible for even more credit than that should they ask for it. So if they end up doing multiple projects, they're finding those upgrades that they really just want to have along the way. It's possible.
Great. Question from Daniela about, is that typical for all loans? Is it always over approved, or does the contractor have to show some sort of like credit report or financial statements?
Yeah, great question. So typically, if we can, based on the consumer's credit profile, we're always going to over approve them as long as their credit profile allows for it.
Mm-hmm. Another question from Stefan. What kind of example terms would there be for a loan like this, like $18,600?
Great question. So GreenSky is going to have several different options. You as the pro are going to choose what you want to offer to your consumer. So a little bit about our pricing structure. It's pay for performance. There's no cost to sign up for GreenSky. Once you're approved and enrolled for the program, you'll be presented with your pricing sheet. I believe there's at least a 12-month no interest, no payment loan. And then we have some monthly payment options with interest rates that we have a risk-based interest rate loan, as well as I think a 9.9 or a 7.9. But again, the cost varies. So you'll know up front if you're offering that 12-month no interest, no payment to your consumer, you'll know up front what that cost is going to be so that you can build it into all of your estimates, right? We want to offer financing to every customer who would qualify, which would be your residential projects, which are home improvement related, not new construction. And as long as you're building it into every single estimate, then you can build it in. You just can't line item it as a financing fee, but you absolutely can build it in as a cost of doing business, just like you would any other costs that you incur for doing business. All of our loans have the same credit profile. So your customer is just as likely to get approved for a no interest, no payment loan as they are a monthly payment option with a fixed interest rate and a monthly payment. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you mentioned you can't call it out as a specific line item as a financing charge. Can you offset that to the customer somehow?
Yes, you can. So just as you build in, like if you have to buy a new truck for your business or you need a new hammer, you wouldn't charge the customers each, 1/16 of your hammer for the year. You just build that into your margins, right? You know that you're going to spend, $1,000 on tools this year. You spread it across all of your jobs. And you can estimate your financing. When you sign up for GreenSky, you're assigned an account manager who will help you talk through your sales strategy. Typically, you're going to see 1 in 4 customers take advantage of financing, and you can keep an eye on it on a quarterly basis. So if you need to adjust your pricing to account for that, you can, because we can tell you how much you're financing. You'll be able to see it in your portal. You'll be able to see if all of your customers love financing, call me because you'll be my next testimonial. But if all of your customers love the financing, then, you just have to build that into your overall costs. What you can't do is say that Kirsten's project's going to be $10,000 and she's paying with cash, and Cameron's doing a very similar project, but he has to pay $500 more because he's financing. So you want to charge, what you do is split the difference, and everybody would pay, I would pay $250 more and Cameron would pay $250 more, and we'd each have a $10,250 project, and the financing fees are covered.
Exactly. And Anthony brings up a good point. Offsetting fees for a loan it's the same as offsetting transaction fees for a credit card or a bank transfer. That you can do that in Houzz Pro. You present it to the customer as you're not charging them a fee, but you bake that into your margin or your markup elsewhere in your financial documents, in your estimate.
Right. And I know every state's different on their laws and the ability with credit cards, so it's a tough comparison sometimes, because some states do allow you to add that processing charge to the bill. But as a consumer specifically, that irritates me because I don't want to pay for your costs of doing business, right? It's a successful, well-run business. You should be building those costs in and not charging the consumer specifically for costs that you're incurring, even though it is a convenience to the customer. And our team is well-versed on walking through that with you and helping you understand what it looks like and helping you overcome objections with the customers. But what we find is when you can build it in and spread it across all of your projects, that slight bump in your pricing and the value that you have and the extra value that you can offer with payment options is not a blip on the radar, because hopefully that customer if they're getting multiple quotes, they're going to like you the best anyways. And $100 here, that's, the value that you sell for being a successful business.
Exactly. A couple confirmation questions. There's no early payoff penalty, right?
Correct. For the consumers. Yep. No additional fees or penalties to pay off.
Great. And I think we heard you say you have loans at 7.9% and maybe 9.9%.
Yeah, I don't have the specific rates in front of me, but we do have multiple options. So depending on where you're at, your client growth manager and account executive can help you determine what's going to be competitive in your market. We want you to be able to choose those options. Exactly.
Daniela brings up a good point, whether there's a service fee for Houzz Pro members, whether we have to pay something extra. No, there's no extra fee on the Houzz Pro side. This is a service we're offering to you, our contractors, because we know it's going to help you close more business, which hopefully you get you reward Houzz Pro with your usage of our product and your renewal business. So this is a service we're offering to you, and the only fees are on the GreenSky side, if any, if you decide to offer them to your clients.
Correct. And the benefit is enrolling under Houzz Pro is that you have pricing that Houzz Pro is negotiated based on their network bandwidth that you likely wouldn't be able to access on your own.
Great level setting question from Anthony. Are these home equity loans or signature loans?
No, great question. So it's an unsecured installment loan.
So think of it like, so it's not a home equity loan. Another analogy would be like a credit card loan or a car loan where you're not securing it against an asset.
Correct. So if they default with GreenSky, we're not going and taking out their project.
Can't take out the kitchen. That's hard to do.
No.
What about Canada? Do you guys cover Canada as well?
We don't. We only work in the US for now.
Got it. Okay. We can keep going. There's no more questions here.
Awesome. So I wanted to talk a little bit about why you'd want to offer more than one type of loan. So in our research and our experience, we've found that there are two different buyer types out there, and you can probably categorize yourself as one. There's those buyers who like to avoid interest. Those are those ones that are saving, right? They may be kicking the tires to find out how much something costs so that they can save up. They're working on their tax refunds. They're maybe getting some money back from their escrow account, and they want to see what they can put back into their house. But they don't want an interest-bearing loan. So we have plans that you can offer to that consumer to help add value to the project and get them to complete the work now. And then they'll have time to save without incurring that interest, as long as the loan is paid off in time. And then we also have longer-term loans where the customer can have a nice low monthly payment to fit within their budget. So maybe they are savers and planners, but they don't mind a nominal fee to be able to carry that money for a little bit longer. With the interest rates and the stock markets and banks right now, hanging on to that money and growing the interest where you have it may be more worthwhile than paying a 10 or 11% loan. Again, you don't know somebody's financial situation, and you don't want to assume that they wouldn't want to do it. It's a very soft option to give your customers when you're presenting that price. And our team, I'll have a slide on it in a second, but our team will coach you and whoever is presenting price on the best way to bring it up to the consumer, to make it easy so that it's not a hard sell. You don't want to make it seem like like the customer can't afford it. It's more of hey, we have this added value for you if you want it. And we'll coach you through those talk tracks and things like that to make sure that your team is comfortable with it, and can get the best use out of it. Okay.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're good.
So this is just some quick data over all of our businesses here that we work with at GreenSky, that the larger the business, the larger the loan size we're seeing. So you see that growth when they're financing more and financing projects, that they're able to grow their business even more. So the bigger the business, the higher projects, the bigger projects that they're closing. So I just like to share those numbers.
And what kind of businesses are we looking at here? Are these
any home improvement vertical? So this would be like, we work with anything that's home improvement related where there's an install. So roofing, HVAC, remodeling, flooring, all of it.
Great, just clarifying.
Yep, no worries. So a little bit about how GreenSky supports you. Through Houzz Pro, you have them as our partner and an escalation point for questions. I've been working with them to make sure that they're knowledgeable on our program. You also have myself as the partner integrations manager here. But we have several layers of support here at GreenSky. So every account is going to be assigned an account support person. So we have those that are specific to helping you onboard, to train your team, to help develop that sales strategy, and understand what's important to you and what you're trying to capture by adding financing into your business. And they can help you strategically decide, which terms to offer your customers. And then we'll help train your team to do that and to implement your sales strategy. We also have a marketing team. So if you'd like to work payment options into some of your marketing, we have some pre-made social media flyers, brochures, signage, things like that. But if you really wanted to come up with something custom, our marketing team is happy to review any assets from a compliance standpoint. And then we do have some regional sales reps for our larger businesses out there. So typically, if they're 5 million in sales revenue or higher, we have a regional rep that can do an on-site training subject to their availability, and just really be that point person for you and your sales team. We have inside sales team who are covering the phones here to help you get enrolled, to answer your questions. And then we also have two different customer service teams. We have a pro customer service team that would be your customer service team. So if you can't get a hold of your account manager for some reason, we call them concierge. The concierge team is there to help you with some functional questions as far as, hey, did this loan get approved? Or, hey, I'm having trouble processing this payment. Can you help me? We also have a customer-facing team so that once your customer has their GreenSky loan and they've paid you with it, they can direct all their questions to the GreenSky customer support team. So you get paid and the customer works with the GreenSky team on repayment.
Great. I'm glad you brought up customers. Anthony had a question about the customer's application or the homeowner's application. What does that look like?
So the consumer application is very easy. It happens within a matter of minutes. There's couple of different ways that the consumer can apply. If you're with them, we have a GreenSky mobile app that you can pull up and the customer can apply on your device. You can also, from your mobile app or your home office, we have a merchant portal as well. You can email the customer an application. We do have a pre-qualification with a soft pull. So if they're not quite ready to take that step, they're not sure what they get approved for and they don't want the hard hit. If they're not going to get approved for what they want, we do that pre-qualification with a soft pull. And we typically just need a few pieces of information from the consumer. We're looking at social security number, phone number, name, address, birth date, and then annual household income. And then that sends, either they fill it out on your device with your assistant, or like I said, you could do the emailed app to them. And then it takes, less than 5 minutes to fill out the application, agree to the disclosures, and then the approval is provided. Hopefully approval is provided on the spot. The decision is provided.
Right.
Would be
Exactly.
what compliance wants me to say. Decision.
Right. Exactly. So right now the pro applies on GreenSky. We're working on an integration to keep all of this data inside the Houzz Pro account. So you as a contractor, you present the estimate to your client. They'll see two different options: pay right now, or click here and apply for financing through our partners like GreenSky. So that's coming shortly. But I want to set the right expectations that it's not quite there yet, but we'll have it shortly. So just like online payments in Houzz Pro, you keep it all in one place on the same screen so they can see their options.
Yeah, we want to make it easy. So to kind of close the loop on the application process, the first application would be the pro application to be part of the GreenSky program. So there's a link that I'll share. It's also linked in your Houzz Pro landing page where you can sign up for GreenSky. We would need ownership information. We would review the business. We're looking at your website. We're looking at your registration, contractor's license if required, etc. That typically takes a week or two for us just to do those reviews and then maybe ask for additional information if we need it. And then once you're set up with GreenSky, you're ready to start offering it right away. I do recommend scheduling a training with our team. We do have some compliance trainings that are required, but those can be done on your time. They don't have to be scheduled. And then we support you through the process. We really want to make sure that the payment options are providing additional value to you as a business owner. So the account managers will check in with you. They're a resource for you. If you're getting objections from your customers or your sales staff on why they're not offering financing and how it's not helping them, then we're there to help you and support you. It's not just to sign up and leave you to your own devices. We want to make sure that it's growing your business and helping your ticket sizes.
Exactly. And if you have other questions, bring them up. We'll get them answered. But there's none so far right now, so we can keep going, Kirsten.
Awesome. So my last slide is just kind of to wrap it all up. GreenSky, like I said, is a little bit different beast than some of the other lenders out there. We're home improvement focused. We're used to working with pros just like yourself. Everything's paperless and online. We don't want it to be cumbersome or difficult. We don't want to insert a delay into closing that deal with the consumer. So the project, as soon as they have an estimate, they can apply. And as I mentioned earlier, they can even pre-qualify with that soft pull. We want to keep the sales cycle moving because we know the less time that you have to spend meeting with those leads and customers, the more time you can spend getting new customers and finishing projects and moving on to the next one. We want to help keep that sales cycle succinct as we can for you. We don't require any sales contracts for funding. We have a simple funding process where you log into either your mobile app or your merchant portal and you request a payment from the customer, and it sends them a text and an email to approve it. We do allow stage funding for qualified merchants. So you typically have to be in business for at least a year, and you have to have 3 million in annual sales. And our underwriting team can review the business financial documents. We'll ask for typically 2 years of P&L and balance sheets, just to make sure that you have some working capital and that the business is in good standing if we're going to be loaning you money for the project before it's complete. So once you're approved for stage funding, that would be initiated on your account, and you would be able to submit for progress payments just like you would for a completion payment in the portal. Credit limits go up to $100,000. The borrower does not need to be the homeowner. So in cases that it's a rental home or vacation home, second home, family home, it's an unsecured personal loan. So it's tied to the borrower and not the residence where they live. So we have some flexibility there. We have multiple options so that we have something that would appeal to all of the customers that you have. And the customer has 6 months to use their loan. So we have what's called a purchase window on the loan. Where once the customer is approved, they have 6 months to use that credit limit. So if you have a longer cycle, hopefully that's enough time. But if you have a shorter cycle and there's credit left over and the customer wants to come back and utilize that, it is pro specific. So that customer's credit limit can only be spent with you. They can't get their credit approved through you and then use a competitor or go to Home Depot and spend their credit on something else. So you know that those funds are there, and therefore you're there for that project that they've gotten approved with you. We have a very flexible co-applicant policy. So anyone in the Friend or Family Network can apply to be a co-applicant for the primary applicant. It doesn't have to be, again, someone who lives in the home or even someone they're related to, just someone that's willing to help take on the liability of that loan should the primary applicant not fulfill their obligations.
Oh, interesting. So this could be like a generous uncle, for example, or an aunt or some other family member or friend?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
So if you have that young married couple that bought the fixer-upper and they maybe just don't have a lot of credit, mom or dad could sign on to help them build that credit and get the home improvements done that they need.
Good to know. Okay.
No questions there?
Let me look. Maybe we could talk about how payment works for the actual homeowner. Like, what does that look like on the homeowner side?
Sure. So the repayment terms are based on the loan that the customer is offered. As soon as they're approved, they get their loan documents in the mail. They don't owe anything to GreenSky until you process a payment to pay your business. So if they sign up for GreenSky and they don't use it, there's no cost to you and there's no cost to the customer other than obviously the credit hit. Depending on their payment terms, if they're on a monthly payment option, their first payment is going to be due about 30 days from the date of that transaction that they paid you. So if they pay you today, they should receive a statement in the next 30 days detailing their payment schedule for what they've been charged so far. So if you do one project and you take a payment today and they come back in 2 months and want to do additional, then we would just add to the balance and adjust their payment schedule for the amount.
Great. Okay. All right. Any final questions, you all? I put a list of common questions and answers. I'll stick it in the chat window for you guys in case you want to take something with you. So you can remember some of the points we talked about. This is specific to the Houzz Pro GreenSky integration. But any final thoughts here? Okay, question from Fabio. Minimum annual revenue for the business. What's the minimum annual revenue for the business to qualify here?
That's a great question. So we don't have a minimum annual sales amount just to qualify for GreenSky. It would just be the stage funding that we're looking for the minimum sales revenue. But you do have to be in business for at least a year to sign up for GreenSky.
Great. Okay. Question from Anthony about how does the contractor actually get paid? Where and when?
So when you sign up, you'll give us some banking account information, and we would deposit the funds directly into that bank account minus any fees that would be applicable.
Great. So straight to your bank account, Anthony.
Yeah.
Any final questions for Kirsten? If not, I would encourage you to go to this this link right here that you're seeing on your screen in blue. That'll get you more information. But the best way to learn about this is apply. The GreenSky team will walk you through every question and every detail to make the right choice for your business. And they'll also coach you through how to pitch these things. You guys are great on tools. You're great with projects. Talking about financial options at the kitchen table is not something that everyone knows how to do. That's what the GreenSky team is for. They will train you and your sales team on how to do this.
Yeah, we're your personal payment options consultants.
Exactly. Okay. Thank you, Michelle. Good to see you. All right. We will leave it here. You guys have a great day, and we'll send out the recording afterwards. Take care, you all. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.